Hey, so welcome back to the channel. Today I want to do a video on parents who are followers of Christ. So sometimes we have a hard time when we are parents of, we know our kids are making a decision that might not be the best for them. But I want to talk about my experience of growing up and decisions that I'm just going to talk about one decision that I made and how I came back to know God. So briefly, my mom, she raised us. I have two siblings, an older brother and a sister. She raised us to know who God is. She raised us to know to pray, to know to read the Bible, to make sure we find a church where we have community. And even with that, I grew up, I was older teen going off to school, and I didn't necessarily have a relationship with God myself. It was more through my mom, because I kind of looked at my mom. We had a running joke with my siblings. We would call her a saint. We knew she wasn't a saint, but we had a running joke because at the time we didn't realize some of the flaws that my mom had, because they weren't as obvious probably as other parents, because we didn't see her make a lot of mistakes that other parents probably would make, because she spent almost all of her time with us. If she wasn't working, she was with us. So we didn't get to see like the dating things. She had one boyfriend that we knew of. I didn't care for, but anyway, neither here or there. But it wasn't, we weren't around him often, and there was like a short period of us knowing that they were dating. So we didn't see a lot of things with my mom. The only thing we really saw is the financial struggles and her being sick. So all of that to say, it wasn't until I got pregnant at 19 where I started to have a relationship with God on my own, even though I was basically born into the church. So yeah, had my daughter in 19. I started to develop a relationship probably about got pregnant at 19, had my daughter at 20. Probably about my junior year of college is when I started to question God. And I questioned God because I didn't have a foundation with God on my own. So I went on a quest of like, who are you? Are you the God that they say you are? Are you the father of Jesus Christ? Are you part of the Holy Trinity? Like, is that who you are, or are you somebody else that's part of another religion? Or are you God of the universe? So I went through that quest, and then I met a guy when I was 22. He was an atheist. So that pushed me further into questioning God, and it wasn't until the end of their relationship. It was a very unhealthy relationship. And I don't want to get too much into that. I might get into that on another video, but it was a very unhealthy relationship. And when we broke up, he took my daughter and I from Memphis to Tennessee. From Memphis to Nashville without us wanting to go. And my mom and my goddad had to come get us. Now, on the way from Memphis to Nashville, I kept calling the same name over and over and over. After this situation, I knew that God is who he say he is. I knew that Jesus Christ is my Lord and Savior. I have not doubted God since then on who he is. I might have had my situations where I'm like, God, what are you doing? But I have not doubted God on who God says he is. All of that to say is, I know as a parent, and especially probably to grown children, you don't have the opportunity to tell your kids what to do anymore. It's more so kind of asking to give your opinion. Number one, being in prayer for them. Always been in prayer, whether things are going the way you think they should or they are not, but always been in prayer for your kids. But you have to learn to do that when they're small, when they are babies, when you are pregnant. You have to learn that then, that you have to keep your faith in God, because your kids can stray away. But we know, and I'm not a Bible scholar, so I don't know the verse word by word. You can look it up. But we know there is a scripture that say that we will not depart. If you are teaching your children about God, they will not depart from God. They will know who God is. In their time of trouble, when they want to come back, God will be there with open arms, because God is always there. So I just want to encourage you, if you are a parent that's watching this video, if you want to be a parent, or if you have nieces and nephews, or you are in a capacity of working with kids in any kind of way, know to be in prayer with them. And throughout their life, especially when they're in your home, knowing to collaborate with them on who God is. Not just tell them this is who God, not just take them to church, not just tell them to read the Bible, not just praying with them, but actually collaborating with them on who God is, asking them questions on who do you think God is? How do you think God shows up in your life? Finding the resources for them. It's not just for us to teach them about God, but we have to give them the resources too. Give them a prayer book. Give them a book, a Bible that's for their age group and the capacity to that they have, because they might not be able to understand the King James Bible. They may, I don't know, your 7-year-old might be able to understand it. I don't know. But give them something that will go to their age group and what their capacity is and the knowledge that they have at that time. And just find the resources for them. If you don't know how to teach them, hey, look, we have YouTube University. You right on YouTube right now. There are so many ways. Collaborate with your pastor if you have one. If they have Sunday school, go to the Sunday school teacher. Say, hey, I'm struggling a little bit about this subject with my child. Can you help me? Or is this something that you guys can discuss in Sunday school or Bible study? But it is up to us to be good stewards and to teach them about God, but collaborate with them. So I just wanted to do this video to encourage any parents out there, anybody who is in a capacity of parenting, whether you are a teacher, a therapist, a principal, a superintendent, whatever, Bible study teacher, Sunday school teacher, whatever. If you are in a capacity, auntie, uncle, grandparent, if you are in a capacity to help some kids and you are a follower of Christ, just remember that the number one thing you could do is have that relationship with God and stay in prayer, and to encourage your kids to do the same. Because just as me, I went on my quest of trying to figure out who God is, and I came back around. Now, my experience of coming back around was a very dangerous one. Your kid, prayerfully, will not have the same experience. I grew up a very stubborn child. I could be a little stubborn now, but because I have had enough experience with being disobedient to God, I try my best to not be disobedient to God now. But all of that to say, and I've said that quite a few times, but all of that to say is stay encouraged. I will be in prayer for you. I am in prayer. I pray for the kids all the time. I don't care where the kid is. I never met the kid. I pray for the children. So, just collaborate with your children about who God is. I went to school with a guy. I think he said that his father was either a pastor or Sunday school teacher, deacon. I don't know. Anyway, he would quiz his kids, if I remember correctly, on different things in the Bible. And these kids probably are Bible scholars right now. That is, I don't think there's an expectation to be a Bible scholar. I do think we need to have some scriptures under our belt to call back out in prayer and to remind God of what his promises are and to tell the devil who our God is. But I don't think there's an expectation to be a Bible scholar in that kind of way. My brain doesn't work that way to remember all of those things, but having some in your tool belt, especially depending on the season that you are going in, or that you are in and you are going to, is good. But yeah, just have that relationship with your kids and trust God enough to know that whatever they are going through, he will get them out of it, and he will be there with them while they're going through it. And if it seems like it's years that they are going through it, just trust in God that he will do what he needs to do. And at that point, there's nothing else you could really do, especially when they're grown. There's nothing else that you could really do but be in prayer, even more than when you were when they were growing up. Because once they are adults, like I said, you can give an opinion on something, but the kid, your child, however old your child is, they are going to do what they want to do. So you have to trust that God is who God says he is. You have to know that I taught them who God is. They can go to God if they want to, and I will always be a safe space for them to come back to. So I don't know if anybody has gotten anything from this, but if you've gotten anything, the one thing I want to leave you with is God is able. God is the God of impossible. And that means that whatever you are praying for, as long as it's in God's will, he will make it happen. Stay encouraged. I'm in a season of waiting, so I know what it feels like to not know what God is doing, for everything to feel upside down, but to know that the constant is God is who God says he is. He says, I am. And that's all he has to say is I am. So, yeah. So, thank you if you watched this far. Please subscribe to the channel and like and share it if you can. And I will see you guys in 2 weeks. Thank you so much.